This time on Woody's Garage. It's Roma Nova time. Again.
Alright, we just pulled it outside, put some gas in it. I have not started it since last summer and it wasn't even on the bike. So, I got the choke out. Probably going to take a few pulls to get some gas in the engine. Alright, let's try priming it. Hang on. A little gas down the carb. I have the kill switch on too, and I'm not sure which way's on. No, that chain not want to go. Did you hear that? Yeah, chain's all crookedish. Again. Oh, this is bad news. Oh, I had this all straightened out back here. Apparently not. Ever wonder if the chain is like bent or something? Like, look at, why does it bind at certain places? Thought it looked okay. The engine's working well, just not the drivetrain. So we had our mini bike swap meet today, and I was trying to get the Roma Nova going in time to bring it down there, because you can kind of ride around a little bit, not much, but you know, these are bogs, cranberry bogs and stuff like that where the races are held, and we could check out the race. But so I brought this out of the basement. I thought it was all done. Got the new throttle set up and started it up with a different clutch. That's the new clutch, and the clutch just cavitated like hell. I mean, the chain jumped, and it's the engine sounded great, but the drivetrain was bad. And the deal is, yeah, I still don't have it aligned. Now, Road King recommended to me, and it was probably the best suggestion, is to cut some new slots here. As you can see right now, it's lined up, and this is how far off the mark we are. This is about where the bolt should be. So I was thinking like, yeah, okay, I'll make new slots. But the thing is, it's so close to the old slot that it's just gonna break through, you know what I mean? There's not enough distance between the two, so it's gonna weaken and probably break. So I started thinking like, what do I do? And I thought about this old engine plate that I had. Okay, doing this engine plate thing today for the Roma Nova, and heavily problematic. I mean, I'm gonna be lucky if this works. But so I got the plate, I ground it out a little bit so it's a little more square, certainly not square, and using the old Golden Boy 2 horsepower to kind of mock up what's going to happen. Now, this is so tight for engine alignment that basically where one bolt goes to, actually this one will be up to hold the engine. The other bolt's got to go down, and they're so close that they're actually going to be mated like this. If that's going to be a problem, I don't know, but I can still get a wrench on it, like, you know, by coming in on the side like this to tighten it. Well, maybe I won't because they'll be interlocked. To hold it, but I'll get the nut underneath. Will it work? I don't know. I also have to use, I got some bigger nuts to go right over the shaft here, so they'll be used as a spacer so that, you know, I have a place for the nut so that it's not, because the head needs someplace to go. I know it's complicated. I'll show you in a second. Okay, we got it kind of scribed out, I think, pretty closely where I want stuff. I avoided cutting this off because it's a pain in the neck, but if I have to, I have to. So I just made a notch right now so that the oil thing can fit through. It's the same thing on the other engine, so I think it's gonna be the same. Next thing we got to do is drill the holes for the second set. Well, I drilled. That one looks off. I don't know how the hell I did that. The others don't look too bad. These are to size to the bolt, but I think I want to give a little wiggle room, so I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. But you see just how close they are. You know that if I drilled that out in the engine plate on the mini bike itself, it would have been so thin that just would have broken. So that's why I'm going this route. Alright, the holes are bigger. Will this work? Oh, hell, I hope so. Okay, we're outside. This is what we got. So these bolts here, this is just a loose nut I'm using as a spacer. These will go up and clamp down the engine. Okay, and these that are right next to it will bolt this plate down to the engine mount, which will give me that shift that I need. I hope. Okay, I'm getting the feeling this just might work. Can you see what's going on there? So we got the new plate above the engine plate. These go down through the slot, so it's still adjustable. Somehow with that front piece, I don't think I'm going to get the adjustment I had before. But now I can use the adjusters back here. So I got adjustment both ways. Only problem is that these guys are hard to tighten down. And the inside one in the front is hard to tighten down. So these, it was also hard to get the engine, and I had to take the spark plug out and the air filter off, but that's not a big deal. But I got to pull it all back out to get these really tight, but right now we're kind of loose fitting. And now I got to see what the chain looks like. I guess that's why I'm doing all this, right? Yeah, I think that should do it. Chain roll's beautiful. Before I used to hear it like binding and clicking and nothing, and that's the brand new clutch there, so problem solved. Just got to get it secured. I want to put the other adjuster on the other side. So we actually got quite a bit of work, but amazing if this is going to work. You see, this one worked perfect here. That's rubbing right up against that, so it tightens it so I don't even have to get a wrench in there. The other ones, the one over there, yeah, I think that one will work out too. The other one that's a real problem is the front one ahead of this. We'll see what that's like. Well, I think it's looking good. You can see that the plate sits above because it's sitting on the other nuts. But it's nice and tight. All of them locked up with the other bolt. You know, a side to a side, except for the one over here, which I could get a wrench on, so there's no problem at all. And if there was ever a problem, I mean, you can get vice grips on the bottom. Shall we try it? problem right now is this is how the air filter's got to be mounted. It's the only way it's going to fit. Well, it's a small bike, that's for sure. Engine's not running perfect, no. And the chain just got wicked loose. And as you see, the sprocket's so big it touches the ground if you make a turn like that. Well, this kind of was one thing indeed that I was worried about, was the engine sliding, because you don't have the surface area anymore. You got these little points. So I may have to think about that. And I don't know why. I just, you know, got a good education that sprocket size really matters for the size of the tire. Now you go like this, that baby's digging in. Now you're gonna bust it. So I just stopped because I felt something was wrong, and then I noticed that the chain was really slack. Alright, so I came up with an idea for under the engine. It's kind of bush league, yes. This is a piece of masonite with a piece of cardboard, and then I put a piece of aluminum flashing on top of that so it can compress a bit. So I'm hoping like the engine, this will fit under the engine like that, in between where that separation is, and when it compresses down on this thing, it'll add a bigger footprint, more surface area, and the engine will tend to slide. It's not heavy, you know, I'm not adding anything overweight or anything like that, but I think it'll do the fix, and I think I'm gonna have to get a different sprocket. I mean, I rode it around the yard in just a little turn like this, and that chain wanted to jump off because it was hitting. So we're gonna look for a 60 or a 54 or something like that. I mean, can't seem to find one right off the bat, but I'm sure there's one out there. Or I'll have to drill my own, which I really don't want to do. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but I think this is going to work out well. You can see that it's kind of arched, sitting on top of this thing, but that's good because there's pressure on this, so it won't want to move forward or back. The bolts from above are sitting right on the plate. And see, before they were sitting there, it was like an ice skating rink. You know, we just move back and forth, but now it has to move this big blob of crap, and it won't be able to. So I think the chain will stay put. I just have to get a smaller sprocket. It's still, the carb still isn't right. It's hard to start. I have to prime it. And it's not smooth. Clean out that main jet, I think. Well, finally, we'll take this out. Not finally. We'll take this out. Then you can see the jet inside there. There it is. And that unscrews, so we're going to unscrew that out. Looks nice and clean. And I have cleaned this carburetor before. I put a new diaphragm in it on the other side, but we're going to put these jets back in and see what happens. Rubber washer looks in good shape. Here we have 2 of these washers, so I think there's only supposed to be 1. So we'll leave 1 out for now. And my eyes aren't good enough to see if there's only 1 of these in here, and I kind of don't want to tear it out in case it splits. See if we can get a better look in the light. Yeah, this looks like 1. So we'll try it with the 1 washer and see if there's any difference. Okay, jet's back in. Only 1 washer this time. Screwed it out 2 turns. We'll try it there, no air filter. Let's see. On switch is on off. That's good. That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah, the switch is for lighting, so I guess it's the opposite. You know, even if you switch the wires, it's still that way, so what the heck. It seems to run better. I'm gonna let it cool down and see how it starts on a cold start. That'll really be the test.